Hey, man, at least this old man is honest.
Illegals. I mean, have you seen these big booty Latinas? Oh my God. I got this cleaning lady named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Biggest booty I've ever seen. I mean, sure, she's got a bit of a mustache going, and yes, she got fat lately, so she's not looking very hot anymore, but we can figure it out, you know?
Bernie, what are you doing? As of course, the Bears have created a very weird, awkward situation for the younger generations as a new staggering chart just came out showing the difficulties of modern life for young Americans that are dealing with increased amounts of economic and social pressures. This as there are people freaking out over a commercial with jeans? What in the world's going on here as there's people literally clapping for an entire extinction of a minority population in the world? Why are they doing this? Well, it's now socially acceptable somehow to be racist and discriminatory and to be proud that people are meeting their end and not reproducing, as of course there's going to be a very important nuanced conversation here going deep down the rabbit hole that a lot of people are very afraid to even look into. But we're not, and if you appreciate that, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course we greatly appreciate all of the support and all of the time that you spend with us. Now, before talking about the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad, which everyone's talking about here, I want to make, I don't want to make this the main focus, but it's going to be a nuanced kind of point at the end here. As this new chart came out, this graph, talking about how 30-year-olds who are both married and homeowners from the age of 1950 to 2025. Look at this graph and look at this huge downturn that happened during the 2000s. Now, what's responsible for this? What's really happening here is Chamat Falataya says something is clearly broken. It's time those of us who were able to live this out figure out what to do to help the millions who aren't anymore. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. We got robbed. We got bamboozled by the Federal Reserve banking system and a lot of these type of technocratic elites that are slowly and surely taking more and more for themselves while leaving you out to dry. Now, this socioeconomic situation also has been done through large families in America like the Rockefeller family that played a key central role when it came to promoting the modern feminist movement, a modern feminist movement that increased the amount of workers. More workers, lower wages, which was really great for Mr. Rockefeller and other people who pioneered, quote, women's rights. And really it just made women serve corporations rather than their families. And when you have the breakdown of the family, when you have the social economic Federal Reserve fractional banking system that just robs people of their wealth, you have a situation that just becomes more and more difficult because the purchasing power of the dollar keeps going down. What you could afford, what you could buy, the type of lifestyle that you had before is no longer attainable because it's not affordable. Why? Because there's a huge transfer of wealth from some of the most powerful people in this world that all of us are paying in through many scams and psyops like the coup that happened in 2021 here. As Crusade Pepe says, this graph says it all. Something is fundamentally broken. I don't care what interest rates were in 1981, as of course the conversation here really needs to be a real one. And a lot of people are not having this type of conversation here because what we're seeing is not just the breakdown of society, but the breakdown of the family unit. We are seeing the utter destruction of the youth here that are just literally gambling all of their money away as their short-term dopamine-riddled brains through these type of frickin' black hole devices with half-eaten apples on them. Tell me that's not symbolic. Those devices are not just creating people who, of course, don't have an appreciation for long-term gratification. But individuals that are more mentally unwell than ever. Now, some people say, no, that's not true. That we're just diagnosing them more than ever. I don't know. I would disagree here. Now, the responses here to this are pretty interesting here. People are saying, people are waiting to marry and buy homes. Isn't that a very good thing? No, because they're infertile. They're infertile because of a secret biological war that's going on that if you're not aware of, you're probably a victim of it already. I've been hyper aware of it. I've been super paranoid of it. I've been talking about testosterone and boosting your testosterone to my members of LukeUnfiltered.com and how to do it naturally as a man. Go watch those videos. They're more important than ever. We have another person responding here. Wow. As we unreasonably increase taxes of all kinds, we are saying no to the free market and yes to socialism, property tax, inflation tax, income tax, sales tax, benefit tax. What have I missed? And because people are not getting married, because they don't have homes, because they can afford a lifestyle, because their dopamine-riddled brain can't fathom long-term gratification over short-term gratification, this is why we are having and are going to be having a huge major shift to the far left. Now, men so far have been going to the right, but overwhelmingly society has been moving to the left here. Now, I want to talk about how single women now are bigger homeowners than single men. We'll tell you about that and how this plays into all of this. Before we do, we wanted to tell you about the ultimate women's sports. For me, this is... oh boy, this one's going to offend 18% of the female viewership. I'm sorry for absolutely nothing. As of course, I want to make people laugh. Listen, you're robbed financially. The purchasing power of your dollar keeps going down. The likelihood of you having a family and successful man and house and some type of lifestyle that is worth living, that's not in a pod with you eating bugs on a VR playset with everything being digitized and monetized against your own will. At least you get to own t-shirts on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Great website. You can get shirts like this one. Anti-government, pro-boobs. Another great shirt that... Listen, as a man, you walk down the street with this shirt. The real ones recognize. The real ones... Listen, the ladies with the sense of humor. Because, listen, when you're trying to pair bond and you're trying to look for the right mate, biggest red flag is someone who gets offended really quick, angry really quick, emotionally unhinged, and triggered by someone that is just being silly and trying to make them. And again, when I'm on like first dates, I'm like the silliest and the most ridiculous. And if someone gets offended, I'm like, I'm out. Peace. I'm gone. And that's why I like wearing these shirts. Because listen, when you wear a woman's sports shirt and you talk to a woman, she knows exactly where you're coming from. And it leads to some very funny conversations. And we have a lot of funny conversation starters. If you have a crazy uncle, if his birthday's coming up, this is the place to get it. As of course, more relationships are unsuccessful than ever. Look at this one. This one's perfect. Are you single? Are you resisting the satanic predator corporatist banking cabal with memes and thought crimes? That's exactly what we're doing. So you should get the shirt. Again, long sleeves, short sleeves, you name them, we got them. Tank tops, we got them all. Thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Get your shirt now while supplies last and be the talk of the town. Now let's talk about women here. As of course their kind of propagandizing, I think, plays a major role in all of this, as now women are given more opportunities than men, especially white men that are being denied access to universities and to jobs. If you look at the Fortune 500 top companies, only 6% of the last hires within the last few years were white men. Why? Because there's a discrimination effort against them. Now, if you look at women now, they have more access towards gaining wealth, gaining money, and more of them do have more wealth and money than men because they have clear access, and there's clear discrimination, especially against white guys. Now, women still expect men to pay for everything. This is the issue, though, because women aren't as generous. And just be honest with ourselves here. A woman is not going to take out an employee that works at Burger King. The average male is a lot more generous, and he's willing to take out that nice lady that works at Burger King as long as she doesn't give him headaches and she's nice. As long as you're nice. I'll take you out. Yeah, let's go out. I'll date you 100%. Yeah, you're a good person. Women, though, on the other hand, they're the breadwinners now, and they're saying, yeah, no, you got to earn more than I do. the richer a woman is and the more intelligent a woman is, the more unlikely she is of ever successfully pair bonding because of a psychological type of approach that most women have that either they're extremely unaware of, or if they're aware of it, I met a very smart, successful, rich woman, and she was just like totally naive. She was totally, I'm like, you psychologically are going to have it extremely difficult finding someone that you're actually attracted to that's on your level, right? Men, we're not like that. We don't need to date above. We'll date below. Women don't. That's why people aren't having marriages and children, because the system now favors women, discriminates men, but women still have it in their heads that no. He has to earn more. And I talked to this. I was like, let's talk about your previous relationship. Your previous relationship, did your ex-boyfriend earned more than you? She was like, no. And I was like, how did that make you feel? She was like, yeah, it destroyed our relationship. I'm like, yeah. I wonder why. Again, that's one of the reasons. And the Rockefellers, who created the modern feminist movement in order to create a second working class, in order to make sure that children are brought up in government schools, in order to make sure that wages go down, in order to make sure that they were able to have double the employees, double the amount of wages that they could decrease. Brilliant, smart move in hindsight, but it destroyed the family unit. It destroyed a big portion of Western civilization, and it's destroying predominantly communities and neighborhoods and ethnicities from the United States. And again, single women now own millions more homes than single men in the United States, and that gap is growing. Now, when it comes to home ownership, the United States has, it's lacking comparatively to other places around the world here. Now, women now earn the majority of college degrees in the United States. I wonder why. Because they have an easier way, an access route here. And again, there's a lot of insane things, especially when it comes to, as people are mentioning here, divorce courts that are just absolutely unhinged here. But married and have a home by 30 years old. In the 1950s, it was 50% of the population. 1960s, 52. And then 1970s, we had that CIA cultural revolution there. It starts to go down, 48. 1980, 45. 1990, 43. 2000, 35. 2010, 25. 2025, 12%. Now, some people argue, no, people are just living like, no. There's an inequality of income here and a direct attack on testosterone. As males are being pacified, there's a chemical biological warfare out there that's being waged against men, meant to, of course, make you into a proverbial beta. Now, I don't like using those terms, but you know what I'm trying to say here. They're trying to make you into a little weak, effeminate soy boy, something that women don't want, especially smart, well-educated, high-earning women. They don't want little effeminate beta males, and they're complaining, just be your true self, show us your emotions. And when you do, they're like, we're going to take the biggest dumping crap on him possible, and we're going to destroy him. And I'm like, what? and it happens more and more. But it also is kind of proven here that males with higher testosterone, or more of individuals, or more of their own people, are more willing to, of course, go against the grain, and are more likely to do what they believe is right rather than what others believe is right, and they're less susceptible to groupthink. Women with estrogen and less testosterone are more susceptible towards groupthink. It's not just biological. It's also a genetic trait as well here. Now, I want to get into the Sydney Sweeney stuff, but there was this segment here that talks about this decline and its celebration of it in a very sick, twisted way, in a very disgusting way. This is Jimmy Fallon, that on his show was talking about, hey, look, there's less white people around. And this is how the crowd responded, which is kind of sick, which is kind of disgusting. Like, what the hell is wrong with these sick, twisted individuals that are celebrating their demise?
Here's the results of the 2020 census just came out, and for the first time in American history, the number of white people went down.
Why are you smiling? One. Two, why are you clapping? And who's clapping? Fat, obese whales that are also the same people that are really pissed off with the Sydney Sweeney ad. Luckily, we have the Gene Company not backing down here and not acquiescing towards the fear-mongering here. But we have to understand here, there's people who are literally being traumatized by an advertisement for jeans. Losers. Pathetic. Crazy, insane individuals that are triggered by beauty. And again, there has been a deliberate demoralization effort in the West that is meant to celebrate and destroy its people. And you look at the vast majority of white people, by the way, like white people around the world are a minority. We're about 7 to 8% of the world's population. White people are the minority, okay? Very few places. And when you look at the replacement levels, and the fertility rates, and successful marriages, and the number of kids white people specifically are having, bam! And then we have legalized discrimination against them. Why? When there's even higher earners in America, there's about 8 to 10 different ethnicities that earn more than white Americans in America. Why are we discriminating against white Americans? I don't get it. As the population of white Americans is going down, where whites in America will soon be the minority. In Europe, Poland is still one of the few countries, along with Hungary and the other kind of Soviet former bloc countries that are still holding on to their kind of identity here, but their populations are also dramatically declining to the point where now there's initiatives and tax initiatives and tax incentives for people to be paid to have children here. Michael Knowles here says, the shock over Sydney Sweeney's voter registration, it just came out that she's a Republican. Surprise, surprise, someone beautiful is a Republican. Most beautiful people are Republicans. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And again, Republicans are more individual-based, more merit-based. Uglier people tend to be Democrats because they're the group-think type of individuals that cohesively work together towards, of course, helping and working each other. If you're someone that's ugly and not a good pair bonding mate, and if you are genetically don't have good genes, you want the group, the government, big mama, to come in there and help you and to protect you and do the best for everyone instead of having the individual be able to actually prove themselves. But it's a regressive, it's a destructive type of mentality, a communistic, socialistic, leftist type of mentality where, no, we got to take care of everyone. No, we don't. No. We need pressure in order to help build, grow, expand human consciousness. Now, what we see here is not pressure, but just demoralization, man. I mean, it is destructive. It is nasty to see. What? Sydney Sweeney. Oh, no. She likes Germans in the 1930s. I mean, how ridiculous, how stupid it is. Like, she's a beautiful-looking, blonde hair, blue-eyed woman, right? Why are people freaking out about beauty? Why are people freaking out about seeing beauty? Of course, the response here from this cartoon here is pretty hilarious. And we should celebrate beauty, and we shouldn't destroy it, because the leftists, the Democrats, they want to destroy it. They want to demoralize you. And they want to do that because they want to conquer, subjugate, and absolutely, dare I say it, create a genocide of a situation that they are a part of, that they're celebrating, that they are pushing in very covert ways, in very subliminal, submessaging ways. And then when you show them the beauty of people, the most amazing, glorious part of, listen, you work hard, you take care of yourself, you make sure that you have a family, you procreate, and you create beauty, you create some of the most beautiful things that are just bring awe and wonder to this world. They hate that. They hate that because it's a sign of, hey, we as humanity need to keep moving forward. Seeing Sydney Sweeney's big, beautiful bazongas, all right, is a sign that humanity must prevail, that we must reproduce. When you look at this stuff, listen, Sydney Sweeney, when you look at this, I don't know about you, but I'm inspired to be a better man. I'm inspired to work hard, to have success, to achieve something in this life. Because I want beauty. When you look at this stuff, I'm not inspired to do anything other than like take an extra shower. Seriously, take care of yourself. Life is short. There's a full-on attack. It's reaching critical stages. There's no going back from this, by the way. It's all probably a larger conspiracy of a sentient AI that's been around for quite a long time that is slowly implementing a eugenic soft kill operation that a lot of people are victims of. But anyway, I'll share that thesis and theory in another video. So subscribe, click the notification button, get a t-shirt, express yourself, meet males or females, meet your next potential mate. Start the conversations. Be silly. Be fun. Life is short. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.